Hi there, Inky Fingers here from Inky Fingers Architectural Art. Well, today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to paint a very simple but highly detailed brick wall. This brick wall is going to have bags of texture, bags of character, and the best thing of all, it's really easy to do. So if you want to do any architectural work where you want to see brickwork, you want to make an accents of the brickwork, then stay around, stay tuned, have a look and have a go. Now in this tutorial I'm going to be showing how to paint this type of brick wall. It's a very easy thing to do. If we just zoom in a little bit, we can see that it looks like an old brick wall. It's got many colours of brick type colours. We've got this is old brick, so we can see that we have the bricks aren't all even. Some are crooked, some have got chips in them, and we've used the fine liner pen to sort of just put some texture within the bricks. So when you look at a distance, it looks like a really nice brick wall. Now to achieve this, we need, of course, our watercolors. We need masking fluid. We need a pencil, and we need either something like for the detail at the end of the process, we need something like a fine liner, something like a 0.05 or a 0.03 will suffice. Or in my case, I'm going to use my Rotring 2000 isograph technical drawing pen with a 0.18 nib, because this is an extremely fine and detailed nib, which we need to draw these fine details right at the end of the process. And the colours we're going to use for these bricks, we're going to have yellow ochre, raw sienna, light red, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and French ultramarine. Now various mixes of these colours will give you all the brick colours we ever need, especially for older bricks from an older house, which I'm going to do. Now the first stage is, of course, we need to draw some bricks. Now this is just going to be a section of a wall. It's no windows, no doors, nothing like the picture I've just shown you. This is just going to concentrate on the brickwork itself. So how I like to do this is to actually draw the bricks first. So this is where you can do this with just a ruler, but I have a little drawing board, so I do like to use drawing boards for this. So all we need, so we'll just get the ruler out, and we'll just draw in just a small wall. So this is going to be our wall. Now the next thing we need to do is to actually define the size of the bricks, to define how far away this wall is. So if I'm going to have some bricks maybe around that size. So you're not completely up to the wall, close up. You're a little bit back, but it's not in the distance. So to do this, now we could just draw the bricks like so. But you do tend to get smaller bricks, longer bricks, which wouldn't really, I don't think, wouldn't look that good. So what I do, we'll just rub these bricks out. Like so. I'll just measure say we'll have 5 millimeters. Make a mark every 5 millimeters, something like that. And then using the straight edge, I'll just draw in. Basically we're drawing the mortar. And we'll just do this as we go down until all the bricks are done. So now this is completed. We've just got horizontal lines going all along. Same, it's pretty much the same size. So within these lines, now we can start drawing in our bricks. Just like so. Now in this process, doing it this way, this is the bit that takes the time. The actual painting of it takes no time whatsoever. But if you want to do a brick wall that looks like brick, then I'm afraid this is how you've got to do it. So we just draw that like that, and then of course the second line we just make sure that we draw the bricks like this, so they're not stacked on top of each other. And this is all we do, going all the way down to the bottom. So I'll just complete this line, and then we'll come back when it's all been completed. And that's our brick wall drawn in pencil. It didn't even take, it took about 7 minutes to do this little brick wall, so it didn't take that long. Bit different if you had a much larger area though, but we will have a perfectly formed little brick wall. So now the next stage is that we need to protect the mortar, all these areas here. And the way we do that is that we apply masking fluid. So when the masking fluid's on and dry, we can then paint in the wall without messing up our clean mortar, which we'll tint at a later stage. Now different people will have different ways to apply masking fluid. Some might just use a brush or some sort of other implement, a stick or something, but I like using a ruling pen, because a ruling pen, you can just turn this little disc and it will open or close the prongs to exactly what you like. So in this case we want, yes, that's about the size we need. So put the ruling pen in and then simply we paint over our mortar. I'll put masking fluid over the mortar. Simple as that. We'll just continue to do this all the way down the page, or all the way down our brick wall, I should say. Once we've done all our horizontals, then we just do exactly the same thing for our verticals. Now that's the whole wall masked out, or the mortar masked out with the masking fluid. So of course we just let that dry and then we can go and work on the colours, the fun bit. Now it looks like the masking fluid is dry. We can start to apply some washes onto the wall. Now I've pre-mixed some paint. You've got the yellow ochre, raw sienna, light red, burnt sienna, and burnt umber. Haven't put any French ultramarine in yet, because the French ultramarine will be mixed in with these other colours to make various shades of dark reds, browns, etc. So, just using a smallish brush, this is a number 4, because it's only a small area, we could now just start to apply here and there. Just let the paint mix on the paper. So this yellow ochre, now we'd start to put a little bit of raw sienna in, a little bit there, bit of yellow ochre again, just slightly pull it across. I'll start to go into the light red, and we'll put some light red in. Again, just let it mix onto the paper. Just here and there, not everywhere. I'll go to the burnt sienna now. We'll get some burnt sienna into this corner here. Burnt umber. Now use this sparingly, because burnt umber is quite, I would say, an unnatural brown. You need to put other colours with it really. But it's just to get this wall sort of covered. Right, so that's it. So now I'm going to start and put French ultramarine into some of these other mixes. So basically what we're getting now is sort of dirty bricks, burnt bricks. And while it's still wet, she'll just drop in here and there this dirtier colour. Let it blend, let it mix in the wet wash. Now again, just here and there. Now this is ultramarine in with the burnt sienna. Now of course it's up to you of how dirty and how old you want your wall to look. If it's a new wall or a newer build, then it's just going to be more yellow ochre and raw sienna. But if it's an old wall, the best kinds of walls, it's going to be all sorts of colours. Right, now I'm going to go into the burnt umber, and I'm going to put some ultramarine into the burnt umber. Of course, ultramarine and burnt umber really makes a dark colour. And this is going to be just for some really dark bits. These old burnt type bricks. Old bricks that have got lots of years and years worth of accumulation of dirt and grime. And I think that will do for that. Now if you want an extra little bit of texture, then of course we can just dip the brush into its clean water, and then just do a little bit of splatter with clean water, just to get some cauliflowers. We don't want much, but an old brickwork, if you can get texture in any way possible, then we use it. And I think that will do. We can see here how the splatter is now starting to push away the water, and it's just given even more texture here. And then we just leave that do its own thing, and then we come back to it when it's dry. Okay, now the wash has dried. Now it's dried, we can now take the masking fluid off to reveal some sharper cut bricks and of course the mortar. Like magic, bricks appear. Just like that. It looks like we had a bit of a blob of masking fluid there. Never mind, it all adds character. Right, so now we've got our bricks, but they look very, very sterile still. It does not look much like this. So what we need to do, well, first off, the mortar is unnaturally white. We need to tone this down. So what all we do here is we get our paints again. A brush, and we'll glaze it with a little bit of yellow ochre. Put some of this raw sienna in. Just a glaze. So that's going to do two things. One, it's going to colour up our mortar. It just takes the glare off, the whiteness. And secondly, the yellow ochre glaze just makes the wall a little bit more golden. It's not as flat anymore. So with the glaze applied, we just have a much nicer looking wall, but we've still got all of these lovely gorgeous tones everywhere. So next we just let that dry, and then we add the texture to the bricks. This is going to be the part of the process, the end of the process, that's really going to give this bit of wall absolutely bags of character. So let's make this dry first. Now for the final stages, I've already done these bricks here with the pen, but of course the camera wasn't recording as usual, so I'll just do a few more bricks just to show you how I made this texture. Now I'm using the Rotring 2000 isograph technical drawing pin with a 0.18 nib because it gives an extremely fine line. Alternatively, you could use something like a 0.05 or a 0.03 unipin fine liner, which will give a very nice line. But to make these lines, all we do is gently we just put some dark marks on the underneath, because we've got the sunshine coming from this direction. So just to make these bricks looks like they stand out from the wall itself, from the mortar. They're not completely flush. We can just put a little line going across just to make it stand out a bit, and we can do what we like. So there you go, there's a little chunk out of the brick there. Now you could do a little bit of hatching just to make it look like it's got a bit of texture. We can do some dots. Just to give the texture. We'll do this one. Again, we'll just do a little line. Take a chunk out of that corner because this is a very old brick wall. We'll just do a few little hatch marks. Again, just to give it that little bit of texture. And we'll a few little dots and dashes here just to make it look like there's something in the brick. I'll do one more. I'll do some hash lines this way this time, just so it separates it so they're not all the same. And this is all we do, completely up to you, or how you want to do, or how much texture you want to put in these bricks. And I'll continue down and we'll come back to it when it's all done. And this is the completed wall, full of texture, full of penwork. If we zoom in, we can see what I've actually done. Just simple lines, squiggles, some dots on each brick. Every brick's pretty much unique. When you look at it from the distance it's supposed to look at, it transforms into a really nice old brick wall. And it's in a context of something like a completed piece would look like this. So this is how I paint a brick wall in the context of a lot of bricks. There are of course other ways you can paint brick walls, which basically you have no bricks whatsoever. It's just the influence of looking like brickwork, just marks, watermarks. But that's for a different picture, style of picture. Something like this works beautifully. In this piece, for example, is a whole brick building, but really there isn't any real bricks involved, as it's just a few little splodges in the shape of a brick, but all the rest is simply watermarks. Paint blended together on the paper itself, just to give the impression that there's bricks. Where this piece, or a piece like this, you're painting actual brickwork. It all depends on what you want to achieve. And that's that. An ultra simple brick wall, but something that looks highly detailed and really good. And if you ever want to do a piece where you want a bit more detail, then give it a go. It's easier than you think. And as you've seen, the results can be spectacular. Now, if you liked this little tutorial and you'd like to see more of this type of thing, then please subscribe to make sure you don't miss one, as it all does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye.